Reflective practice is an important concept in the field of education. What do we mean by reflective practice and what is its importance in education? These are the questions that we will briefly respond to. So first, what do we mean by reflective practice in the field of education? Generally, reflective practice is a process of critical thinking or critical examination or evaluation of the aims and objectives of education, the implementation processes of education or the delivery of the educational process, the evaluation systems that are in place in the educational infrastructure, the outcomes of the educational process, and the overall impact of the educational process on the society. Now, who are generally involved in the process of reflective practice or critical examination of these concepts? Generally, such people who are involved in the process of reflective practice include important educational stakeholders, including educators and teachers, educational leaders, curriculum developers, educational administrators, educational policy makers, and philosophers or thinkers of education. And so these people are generally involved in the process of reflection on the aims and objectives, the implementation, the evaluation and outcomes, and the ultimate impact of the educational process in order generally to actually evaluate and to improve the process of education. Now, what is the importance or significance of reflective practice in education? So, this actually depends on the scope of reflective practice or the aims for which a reflection or critical analysis of the process of education is done. So again, generally reflective practice has its significance mainly because this is a process that helps, number one, in the critical analysis and improvement of the aims and objectives of education. So as we know that the aims and objectives generally are in response to the needs of the society around, and so therefore because the needs of the society, the requirements of the society, the conditions of the society keep on changing with the passage of time. So therefore it is important that there is a critical analysis of the aims and objectives of education so that these can be adapted and shaped in line with the changing environment around the changing situation and the changing needs. Secondly, a reflective practice also helps in the process of evaluation and improvement of the implementation process of education. For example, the delivery of the educational curriculum or the teaching. So reflective practice in a very practical sense helps in improving the process of implementation of the curriculum, the process of teaching, the process of delivery. And so it ultimately leads to more effective, for example, more effective teaching methodologies and strategies for better implementation of the educational process. Thirdly, analysis or the evaluation system is an important part of the education system. And so authentic evaluation generally helps in improving the process of the educational process. Therefore, it is important that there needs to be critical examination of the evaluation system, the examination system. And so reflective practice is significant and important because it helps in improving the evaluation system that is part of the education system in general. And thirdly and lastly, critical overview of the educational outcomes. So what are the ultimate outcomes of the educational process? that is something that is a question that helps generally in overall evaluating and overall assessing the impact or the ultimate outcome of the educational process in terms of the product that it gives to us at the end of the educational process. And so we can also say that the overall impact of education. So what is the overall impact of education? Is the process of education giving us the kind of graduates, the kind of people who are useful for the society in general, for the world on a larger scale, or is that not the case? So these are important questions, and these are important ways in which reflective practice can help us in improving the overall process of education, beginning from the aims and objectives of education, the implementation of education, the analysis and enhancement of the evaluation system, making it more authentic, and ultimately in terms of improving the overall outcomes and impact of education on a larger critical level. And so as we can see that because these areas in some ways correlate with each other and overlap, but in some cases a variety of stakeholders are involved in asking these important questions at the various layers and stages of the educational process. So therefore the scope of reflection range from the technical improvement of the technical classroom teaching implementation to the broader level, critical level, where the critical and reflective practitioners actually question the effectiveness of the educational process at a larger critical social and socio-economic level.